All right, welcome to everybody. So Connor Norby has officially been sent down. The Braves have already released their lineup, and there is no right-handed hitters on the bench, and Norby is not in the lineup. Jorge Mateo is, Gunnar Henderson getting the night off. So that leads one to presume that Connor Norby has been sent down. It's a tough situation for the guy. You know, we like him. I find him as a grinder, almost like a Westberg type. The only difference, obviously, is Westberg has an elite glove. Connor remains to be seen if he does or not. In the minors, he did not. But he was a guy I wanted to stick around. Took great at-bats. I felt like his at-bats and his approach, especially early on, got better like immediately. The first two at-bats, he got overmatched by Kevin Gossman, who's been in the Cy Young race quite a few times, and it was fine. He immediately made adjustments, started putting the bat on the ball. He hit a home run. Just never looked overmatched whatsoever. He's just very collected in the box. His motions were nice and smooth. To me, I would have loved to see that guy stay. I really, really would have loved to see him stay. It's just, we go back to this roster crunch again. We knew Mateo was coming off. Mateo's been playing great, right? We can't just take the spot away from Mateo. He's earned every bit of playing time that he's gotten, and there's no question about that. Would you have personally sent Connor Norby down? Like I said, I would have not. I am on the Cedric Mullins train to send him down. Look, he's struggling, and I'm going to be very honest about it. He's struggling across the board. I know a lot of people still clamor to his defense. His defensive metrics right now are average in Major League Baseball. He's made a couple really nice plays. I'll tip my cap to that. I feel like Cedric would really benefit from just, hey, go home for a week. Don't play baseball for 1 week. Please go home, spend some time with your family, turn your brain off, and then come back and let's get after it. I don't think Cedric Mullins is washed by any means. The talent is still there. We're not seeing a guy who's being overmatched at the plate. We're just seeing a guy who mechanically is stepping out, blowing his front shoulder open, and just making bad decisions at the plate. A lot of that's just being in his own head. You want to be great, especially when you're struggling. You want to do good things. Everyone around you has watched you be one of the best players the Orioles have had for several years. It sucks to struggle, right? And he's in his head so bad. Like I said, I don't think the talent is gone from Cedric whatsoever. I don't see that drop off that I saw from Chris Davis where his hands just looked slow. Cedric, I still feel like can swing the bat. It's just right now it's decision making. It's minute little mechanics. I really, really, really feel like he would benefit from just a go home and turn your brain off week. But that's me. It's hard to say. That would have been my choice to send down and keep Connor up here. Connor was so versatile. And I know, I'm not going to say that him and Mateo are the same player because Mateo is blazing fast. Let's be honest. We all know it. But they were almost the same kind of player, right? They play multiple positions. They play their multiple positions well. They're right-handed hitters. Mateo's been taking great at-bats here the last month and a half, 2 months. Connor, I was going to presume, was going to take the same amount of good at-bats. He showed in his limited at-bats that he could take good at-bats. So to me, you can maybe lump him in there with Westberg too. It didn't matter where you put him on the field, whether that be left field, right field, second base, third base. It wouldn't have mattered. Connor would have gave you everything, and he would have did it well, just like Mateo does when we move him to left field or center field or whatever, shortstop, second base. He has played the game well. Westberg, third, second. It doesn't matter. The Orioles just breed these kind of players that they can move around at a moment's notice, and they're still going to perform. I would have preferred especially with the limitations that you have at DH and first base, I would have preferred one more utility player. Because they're pretty landlocked right now with Adley performing so well as a DH. You got to use him as a DH. Santander, honestly, when you look at his splits, he stinks hitting right now. So this is as of June 11th. Right now, his stats while playing the outfield are horrific. It's like down to like 213 or something like that. As a DH, he's hitting almost 270. So it's like you've got two guys. You got Adley hitting over 300 as a DH. You got Santander hitting over 270 as a DH. Like they both got to play, right? So you're landlocked there at DH. You're landlocked between a righty and a lefty on the mound at first base. So you've got three different guys, Adley, a ton of guys actually, Santander, Mountcastle, O'Hearn, and Adley that continue to kind of rotate around this DH role. It would have been nice to have Connor, right? Could you throw Mateo out in right field if you had to? Sure. I would have much preferred to see Connor Norby in right field compared to Ryan O'Hearn. But again, Ryan is hitting, and you got to find a spot for him. And I don't know. To me, that having a super utility player like that would have made a lot more sense than to just kind of landlock yourself with I don't want to say an automatic out with Cedric, but he's an automatic out right now. I'm going to come out and say it. He's an automatic out right now. And he only plays center field. So I would have preferred to see that guy that can just go do it anywhere and give you a little bit of speed on the base. And for the metrics that Baseball Reference picks up, which is the speed over ground by foot per second, Connor Norby's faster than Cedric Mullins. So you would have had the same type of runner coming off the bench. It's a tough sell. Either decision you make here is a tough sell. Birdlands, I think highlights the challenge only having 8 players. Yeah. Sports, what's up, man? I don't know. It's just it's tough. It's tough for me. I like versatility myself. I feel like Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde like versatility themselves. They are just so landlocked with certain players at certain positions to kind of get rid of that guy that could go do it all. Didn't make a ton of sense, but I get it. They are fully 1,000% committed to seeing Cedric Mullins out of this slump. The only question that I have about it, I'm on board for it, right? If Cedric turns around and starts hitting 260, awesome, right? It's only going to help the Orioles. I'm not wishing this guy to fail whatsoever. But right now he is an automatic out. And they like Birdland's saying, they are limiting themselves in the lineup. It's just I do hope he figures it out. They're committed. They're not going to come out and say it, but they're 1,000% committed to hoping that Cedric Mullins figures it out. And they're going to do whatever it takes until it happens. My only question with that as well is when is it enough? When is it too much? At what point are you literally just destroying this guy's confidence? For a while there, we picked and choose certain at-bats for Jorge Mateo last year, and he just started smashing the ball in September and October, right? They picked and choose certain left-handed matchups with him that put him in a good position to succeed. What they're doing with Cedric right now, I get it. The only way to get out of a bad slump is to keep hitting through it. But maybe kind of give him the Jorge Mateo treatment. Start finding certain, scenarios that you think he's going to succeed in. I'll give you a good little reference here. So Cedric was, prior to these last two games against last two series against Tampa, Cedric was dominating Savali in his career, absolutely dominating him. Those are the kind of situations that you put him back in to see if he can figure it out. He played both games against Savali, and I believe he only got one hit. So he was 1 for 9 against Savali. Restricted, what's up, man? Mayo is actually still rehabbing a broken rib. So he should be back here fairly shortly, honestly. But yeah, it's that's my only question with Cedric is how much damage are they doing mentally to him right now? Just letting him just say, hey, keep going out there, man. Like we see little glimmers of hope here and there. You know, he hits a couple balls on the screws and stuff, and people think he's getting ready to go. When you're in it mentally, it takes a little bit more than 2 or 3 hits. You know, sometimes they say it only takes 1. Sometimes it does only take 1. And sometimes it takes 10. Right? Because it's still in the back of your mind, like, damn, I could really fall right back into this 0 for 10 real quick. Like, I'm just he's too good of a player with too much talent to destroy mentally. Just keep throwing him out there. I understand they've given him a couple nights off, and he's come back, and he's hit a couple balls harder, and he's working on the field prior to the games and stuff. But you might have to start picking and choosing a little bit. It's just it's a rough spot, and it's tough on Connor Norby. As long as they communicated with him prior, like, hey, you're only here until Mateo's healthy, then I guess I don't feel as bad. But as long as that was communicated, we're never going to know as fans. But it's just, when you look at it from a fan standpoint, right? And we're wrong most of the time. You know, let's be honest with ourselves. We're wrong most of the time when we make assumptions and stuff. Mike Elias is a smart man. You know, he waits things out and all. And it's paid off, right? Ramon Urias is now hitting again. Austin Hayes is looking like a very serviceable outfielder again. You know, he's waiting right now on Cowser. You know, it's just, I'm dead scared that they might be mentally just destroying Cedric. Like I said, I would have kept Connor Norby. Whether that would have been for 1 day, or not 1 day, I'm sorry, 1 week, 1 month, I don't care. I would have loved to have seen Cedric go down and just kind of just regather himself. I wouldn't even have cared if you would have sent him all the way down to Sarasota in the Florida Gulf Coast League, right? Hey, go hang out on the beach. Call your wife. We'll give her a plane ticket. Bring the baby. You guys just go hang out at the beach for a week. Please just decompress. And then, you know, we'll bring you back. Would have loved that. You know, the Blue Jays did it with Manoah. You know, Manoah was just going through it mentally. He would go down to the FCL League and just get absolutely shit on by young players that he's 10 times better than. But then he started figuring it out. Gets himself back to the big leagues, has a couple serviceable starts, has Tommy John. You know, you can't fix that part. But the Blue Jays put the effort into kind of rehabilitating one of their better players, and he got himself back, gave him a couple serviceable innings, and then he gets hurt. I mean, that kind of stuff happens. You can't get around that. The Strictest says, I feel a little bit scared about watching our rookie pitcher go up against the Braves in his second start. And I will say we make a great trade partners with our current opponent, the Braves. Yeah. I mean, so we'll answer restricted first here. So I feel like Cade Povich is built for this. It's not often that you see a rookie arm just come out there and looked unfazed on the mound. Yeah, he had a couple walks, but that's kind of been his MO his entire career down in the minors. A little bit of walk issues, and he's just strike you out. Or it'd be soft contact in play. So for him to come up to the big leagues in his first start, not in the same country, and just pretty much look unfazed, I was pretty impressed. Now, granted, since April 24th, the Braves have been the worst offense in baseball. They're the only team to not even score 150 runs since that day. I think the Orioles are at almost 300 runs since April 24th. So it's kind of a good matchup in a certain way if you look at it. But he quickly could go in the hole. I see what you're saying there. You never want to wake, a sleeping giant. And, not that they're a huge giant without Ronald Acuna, but they can still hit the ball, right? They're big league guys. They got a lot of good players over there. So just, hey, I want to see some of the matchups. I want to see him throw against Matt Olson and Azuna and stuff, and see where we go from there. See what we got in the kid. That's my big thing. I want to see what we got. Yeah, let your fastball. If you saw a star, you cannot look. Yeah. So yeah, that's been his kind of MO in his career. Is the fastball has been heavy. And by heavy, I mean, so he can throw 92, 93, and it still can hurt the catcher's hand. So what they have in baseball is called a heavy ball. I mean, a lot of guys that have played will kind of understand what a heavy ball means. But there's something about a heavy ball, right? You can throw 93 and it'll look and feel like 97. It's basically what the spin rate is nowadays. When guys get a lot of spin on the ball, it feels heavier, comes in harder than it actually is. It gives it a little bit of movement too. So he gets away with a lower 90s fastball compared to some other guys, and being left-handed helps too. But yeah, not being able to locate the secondary pitches has been a little bit of his issue in his career, which is kind of why he stayed in AAA for so long. He was really bad early on with the walks, and then he just last year, and then this year, it looked like he had figured it all out, and he just started pounding the zone, had very high strikeout rates. If he walks 2 or 3 guys a game in his rookie year and doesn't let too many of them score, I'll deal with it, because they're only going to make him better. But, I mean, it remains to be seen. It's definitely a concern for sure. Sports King, who do I have winning the first game in between the O's and the Braves? I would go with the O's. I mean, Suarez has shown me enough to feel confident with him on the mound. I was taking a peek at the lineup a little bit ago. Let me pull it back up. The lineup is without Gunnar tonight, so we're going to have to rely on some offense from Westberg. I know Westberg's going to scuffle a little bit, but you know what? That's another guy that I also feel like will be completely fine. Let me pull it back down here. Where was it? I know Jason Benowitz had posted it here. All right, so tonight we got Westberg, Rutschman, Mountcastle, Santander, Hayes, Mateo, Urias, McCann, and Cowser hitting ninth. With Henderson, Mullins, O'Hearn, and Stowers on the bench. So you got 2 of our better hitters on the bench tonight. They are going against Max Fried. Very tough left-handed pitcher. But you know what? I've looked at this several times this year, and I've looked at a lineup, but I'm like, what the hell is that? They can't win with that lineup. And then they go out there and they score the most runs of the season. So at this point, I've completely stopped passing judgment on our lineup and just rely on the pitching. For the Braves, they've got Harris, Albies, Riley, Olson, Ozuna, Duvall, Kelenic, Murphy, and Arcia. So they have a stout lineup. Why they have scored the least amount of runs in baseball since the end of April, I couldn't tell you. I have zero answer for that. That's a lineup that could easily put up 10 runs every night. Easily. So for tonight, when you look at the lineups and compare them and look at Fried versus Suarez, your smart money would go with Atlanta, right? But like I said, I'm done betting against the guys because they just find a different guy every night to be a hero. So I'm going to go with the O's tonight. I'm going to go with I'm going to go with a 5-4 victory, and Kimbrel slams the door again. The best closer in baseball since May 2nd. I don't know if a lot of people know that. The ranked number 1 closer in baseball since May 2nd. The Orioles need to find a player with the last name Eastberg. Oh, that'd be funny. East Side. Yep. That would be pretty funny. So, yeah, but I mean, when you sit here and look at this lineup here, I mean, Suarez has got his work cut out for him. If he walks guys, he will get in trouble. I'm going to come out and say that flat out. If you walk a guy in this lineup and you leave runners on with, Riley and Olson and Ozuna, I mean, it's 3 guys in a row that can hit it 500 feet. You got to make your pitch. So, yeah, I mean, and same thing with Cade Povich tomorrow. You walk one of the first 2 guys, they're stealing second base, because we don't hold runners for anything. And then you've got 3 straight guys that can hit the ball off the warehouse. Right-handed or left-handed, doesn't matter. They're that strong. So, look, the rest of this month is it, right? This will define the type of team that we have. I feel like, personally, if they go 12-8 to finish the rest of this month, playing all All good baseball teams here. Atlanta, New York, Cleveland, Houston, Texas, and I might be missing one more. They're all really, really good baseball teams. I don't care what Houston's record is. When they want to click it, they're going to click it. So I'm still considering them a good baseball team. 7.5 games out or not, I don't care. They will put it together when they feel like it. So it's, to me, this is what you're going to find out right here. You're going to find out about the pitching staff. You're going to find out about this bullpen. You're going to find out about these young hitters, how good Westberg is, how good Mountcastle is, how good Cowser is. This could make or break Cowser right here. I mean, he's already been scuffling a little bit, and now he's facing the best of the best for, the next 20-some games? It could make or break the guy for a good bit. We could find him either talking that we have ourselves a damn good rookie, or he might find the bench again. So lots of rides on these next 20 games. Any thoughts on trading Urias and keeping somebody like Norby? That to me, yes. I felt like that's probably the best scenario. We definitely don't give Stowers enough at bats. We do not. They did this to him last year. It ruins guys when they don't get enough at bats. But that's because of the backlog that you have at DH and at first base, and it forces you to play somebody in right field that probably shouldn't be playing defense anyway. They have a couple roadblocks that are going to affect the team for a while until they address them. Schwartz should make it to the 6. I think he definitely could. But yeah, I would have loved to trade Urias. You kind of know what he is. He's a very good glove. I'll be dead honest. When Urias hit 16 home runs in, was it 2021 when he did that? I was excited. I was like, man, this guy's got it. And then he came out and just kind of faltered off. But he won a Gold Glove, and then the bat really just looked terrible. But he got hot. He's hot at the right time. He's a very serviceable fielder. He's not a guy that's going to stay hot the whole year. I would trade him. I would see what you have in Connor Norby. If it's a guy that you think you're going to stick around with for a while, that's the only way you're going to find out is to play these guys. But that's me. I would love to trade Urias. My problem is I don't think his value is that high. Like who needs who's going to go out and trade for a 5th infielder? You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's really, it's in the back of the GM's mind. Maybe he'll think about it in 5 weeks from now, but nobody's thinking about it right now. He's not going to take a team. He's not going to make a team better right now for somebody to worry about going out and trading for him. Or even trying to come up with a package if Mike Elias even calls him. You know what I mean? That's the only bad part. Zach, it's Jackson's time. I agree, man. Jackson's getting there. He's very close. I need to see just a little bit more left field, staying behind the ball and driving it to left field. I want to see, Gunner's a lot of pull happy. Gunner also hits the ball, 105 miles an hour every time he puts the barrel on it. But when push comes to shove, and we saw it last night, Gunner will take a ball down the left field line and turn it into a double. It's just what he does. And I would like to see Jackson a little bit more of that in the highlights at Norfolk. He's starting to hit the ball a little bit more right center. Not everything is right on the right field line. Some center field shots too. I just want to see. We saw it in the lower levels last year where he was driving the ball to left center. I just want a little bit more of that, and then I'll fully be able to say, yes, he's 1,000% ready. I will say, though, he has 11 errors at second base at Norfolk this year. I really do not think Jackson Holiday sticks in the infield. He's good enough to do it, but the Orioles pride themselves on having one of the best defenses in the game pretty much every year. And eventually you're going to have Mayo and Norby if they keep him, and then possibly Holiday. And then if you don't re-sign Ryan Mountcastle, trying to deal with somebody else, trying to learn first base, I think there's potentially too many glaring holes of defensive issues, that he gets moved. I really, really, really think that Jackson Holiday could follow Adam Jones's footsteps and become a superstar center fielder. I really do. I know they have Judd Fabian. I know Matthew Etzel just came up to Bowie. He's honestly going to be here before 26. I can promise you that. Dylan Beavers will be here before the end of 25. So the outfield is absolutely stacked with what they've got right now. Excuse me. But long term, if Jackson continues to make errors, I just don't see how they deal with it. I think they're content with dealing with Mayo making some errors at third because he's going to blast 40 home runs. But if with Jackson's speed and athleticism, like it's just easy to move him to the outfield. Like several teams have moved shortstops to the outfield, and they've become very good players. So it's a thing to watch. Cowser sticks in the left. It's very, I don't know. I really don't know. Cowser's going to stick on the corners, I think, whether that be left or right. I'm not sure yet. It's going to remain to be seen. I mean, Dylan Beavers right now has been playing every position. Fabian's been playing a lot of center and Bowie, but Beavers has got the stick. Same kind of build as Cowser, 6'4", that 220-ish range, runs well. Just looks like a horse out there, you know? But I don't know. It's a tough call to see what's going to happen with Cowser. Cowser's going to have to hit. I can tell you that right now. Cowser's fan favorite, but with the amount of talent that is coming through, he's only got about a 2-year window. I think all the young guys only have about a 2-year window because there's so many of them. They got to try them all, you know? Which one of the young outfielders was compared to Judge? I don't know if anybody was ever. The only one I think compared to Judge is the other guy in the Yankees system, Spencer Jones. He's like 6'8", like 280 or something like that, but he's a left-handed Judge, and he hits moonshots too. You can see Mayo being like O'Hearn, but for third base. I could see that. Yeah, Santander is it's going to be a tough one. I did a little bit of a video about that. Santander is a guy that could fetch some pitching, not high-level pitching whatsoever, but some pitching, like maybe a bullpen piece. And it won't even be a closer, right? It'd just be a bullpen piece. He's a guy that could help the offense win a World Series, but he's not a guy that you want to continue to trot out in right field to give him a contract extension to, right? So he's turning 30. Anytime he runs, he looks like he's hurt. You know, like he's always looking like, my legs hurt, my back hurts, and all he did was run to first or second base. You know, I don't think that's a guy they give a contract extension to, but I think they definitely let him finish this season in Baltimore. Mainly because, you know, the offense he does provide, the clutch hitting that he provides, and the value is really kind of low. He's just not worth much. He's worth a lot to Baltimore fans, but to other GMs and other organizations, like, what are they going to do with him? He's a 240 hitting DH that only hits 25 home runs. Like, they probably already have a guy like that. He's really overvalued here in Baltimore, and I hate to even say that because I like watching the guy play. But he's really overvalued here. So hopefully that doesn't bite us in the butt. Him hitting 200 in his career in September and October scares me. Because we're looking at, you know, a 7-8 year, or what, year 6, 7 now. So it's become a pattern. So he's got about 600 at bats in September and he's hitting 200. So it's like, do you want to hang on to that guy knowing that he generally starts to struggle as it gets colder? Or do you want to try and flip him for any kind of pitching that you can? It's a big decision that Mike's going to have to make here pretty shortly. So, but yeah, Mayo should be fairly. I believe he started hitting off the tee, so he should be joining rehab assignments probably within the next week or so, maybe a week and a half. And then we'll see that. Any news on Kramer? So Kramer, they said, has thrown a bullpen sessions twice while they were in Tampa. So they were going to see how today felt with the elbow or tricep or whatever it was. If that responded correctly, then they were probably going to make a corresponding roster move. But another thing that remains to be seen, So, but it is 4:00. I do have to go run and get my kids. They are at daycare. So let me hop off here. It was a quick 30 minutes. I apologize. Any ideas on Kramer's future? Kramer's a very good number 5. I'll answer that real quick before I go. Kramer's a very good number 5. I would take Dean Kramer every 5th day I'd give him a 3-year deal. I don't even care, right? I don't even know how old he is without looking right now. I'd give him a 3-year deal. I'm pretty sure we still have another year or two of control on him anyway. Outside of Kimbrel, Santander, and I think it was Burns, and then maybe I think O'Hearn has a club option. The first contract's not even up until 2027, and that's Ryan Mountcastle. Dean might actually have more than that. So Dean might be a 28 guy. This is going to actually be a video I'm going to do soon. A friend of mine, Tim Malarkey, we were talking about the other day. 2028 is I think it's 11 players hit free agency that year. It's going to be something wild here in Baltimore. But let me go ahead and go grab these kids from school. I'm probably going to try and do another video here soon. I need to stay a little active on this channel, kind of keep things going. I'm trying to grow it, man. Really trying to grow. I've been appreciating everybody's support. So join the stream. Bless you, man. I appreciate it. Everybody stopping in. Birdland, Restricted, Zach, Sports King. Thank you guys for chatting today, and I'll catch you guys later. Sorry to hear about Connor Norby, but let's go O's.